Hey everybody, Casey and John from Modern Commerce here, back to talk some more e-commerce in 2021. Today we're going to discuss 6 essential tools you need for e-commerce. John, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Awesome, man. Yeah, it's draft day. Repping my team here.
Very nice.
Gonna get some good picks in this draft, and our viewers
You
can
guys
make.
have the number 3 pick, right?
What's that?
You guys have the number 3 pick, right?
True. Yeah. But anyway, I was gonna say our viewers can make a good pick by following our recommendations for tools here. So that's my cheesy joke.
Yeah, right. Good transition.
All right, I know we have a little bit more limited time today, so we're going to jump right in. And John, what's your first suggestion for a tool today?
Yeah. So today we're just going to hit on some tools that we find pretty essential for e-commerce. Just softwares, apps, things like that. That we just find super helpful, and really, like, we're not even going with like the ones we find helpful. We're going more like these are really essential to most brands that we work with. So my first pick is app, and just so everybody knows, we're not affiliated with any of these. None of these are paid. These aren't paid promotions. These are purely our recommendations. There's no affiliate links, none of that. So my first recommendation is Instapage. So Instapage I super like. It's a page builder. So like it's a landing page builder, and the reason why I like this is I think you just need this function in e-commerce. So if you're working with an e-commerce platform like a Shopify or WooCommerce or Magento or Wix or whatever it is, you typically have like pretty limited capability of making a page on your website that looks exactly how you want it to look. So if you're running any kind of paid traffic at all, Facebook ads, Google ads, anything like that, or even email, or if you're doing cool promotions that need to be explained a little bit, a page builder is just super helpful generally, so you can really control. I mean, for me, I'm a paid traffic guy. I really like to control that post-click experience, that page that they land on, as opposed to like, if I send them right to a product page on Shopify, or even a home page or a collection page, I have pretty limited control over what that page looks like. So really the idea here is a page builder is what you need. I love Instapage because as a paid traffic guy, I like to have a lot of control over my page, and Instapage has the best control in terms of like how you lay it out and design it. But Casey, I know that you were actually like a little bit at odds with me here. There's another page builder that you like better.
Yeah, so particularly if you're on Shopify as your selling platform, Zipify Pages is one that stands out to me. You're a little bit more in the paid traffic specialty. I'm a little bit more, I would say, specialty in like email and the SMS, kind of the monetization of own brands. And I really like Zipify Pages because it does give you a little more control than what Shopify natively does. Not as much as Instapage, but it does have some cool integrations. You can put your products right on the page. You have some cool functionalities of buttons that will work with Shopify since they're well integrated. You don't always have that freedom and that kind of clickability of offers that you can create through Shopify with other tools. So that's my pick there is Zipify Pages.
That's a good point. So it's like if you're a multi-SKU store, right, or a multi-product store, or like you're not really promoting one product or something like that. Like a lot of times that's how it is in email. If you're a clothing brand or an accessory brand or something that you just have multiple products and you want people to go buy whatever they want, Zipify Pages maybe beats Instapages there, because in Instapages you're gonna have to go like, pull in all of the graphics and stuff for each product that you want and set up the click through to each product page and stuff like that. It might take a little extra time, whereas Zipify Pages, you can just plug your products right in, and they're there just as if it's a collection page. So it's like kind of nice. Like I do like Zipify Pages if I run a lot of traffic to collection pages, because then you can just say, all right, well, like let's just like beef up and make this collection page better with Zipify Pages, and we can customize the collection, move the products around, stuff like that.
Absolutely, man. Yep, exactly. So yeah, given that like I just mentioned, I handle some email, SMS stuff. The next kind of tool I want to bring up is email tool. So my preferred email tool is Klaviyo. I say Klaviyo from the Pacific Northwest. Apparently we talk funny. I don't know. A lot of people pronounce it Klaviyo. Anyway, it's a great tool. Again, it integrates well with Shopify. It gives you some functionality there that you don't get with every tool. One of the things I like most about Klaviyo is that you have some segmentation options that just don't exist on other tools. You know, I can take, I think I've mentioned it in a couple other videos, but I can take and make sure that I'm only sending certain campaigns or flow messages to people who have opened, you know, one of the last 3 messages I sent them in the last 90 days, for example, you know, something like that. And if you start using rules like that with your brands, a tool like this with those capabilities can really help you turn the corner efficiency-wise, which email is all about efficiency in order to get to that volume. So
yeah, I mean, look, pretty much every e-commerce brand, you know, probably has an email tool they use already. I would say the most common ones we see in the e-commerce world are Klaviyo and MailChimp. You know, to put it lightly, it's not like anything's, if you're emailing, that's good. Like that's step 1, right? Like you need to be emailing. But I would say like, you know, Klaviyo is kind of like a steroid version of MailChimp. Like it's just a little bit better in terms of all of the functions it has and the segments it can create and stuff like that. So, and the way it's tied into the e-commerce platforms, like they do a really good job on all platforms, not just Shopify. We just, you know, deal with Shopify most. So yeah, like that's definitely like our #1 recommendation. But I don't know, do you have a secondary recommendation? To me, my secondary recommendation is just like, I mean, make sure you're emailing, right? Like I don't, if you have a tool that you like and it works for you, then fine. But you know, maybe try Klaviyo because it might be better.
I think that's it. Yeah, figuring out systems within your tool that allow you to optimize whatever that means to you. You know, if you're able to do that on MailChimp, great. You know, Active Campaign's another one that we see quite a bit. As long as you understand the tool and you're getting what you need out of it, and you're able to grow your email revenue or your email conversions, whatever you're trying to do, that's all you're looking for. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think we kind of like Active Campaign with the, you know, bit we've played with it. We just think maybe it's a little more broad. Like it could be good for like a SaaS, an info business. It can do okay for an e-commerce. Like Klaviyo is really kind of niched into e-commerce and just seems to work a little bit better for e-commerce specifically.
Right. Yeah, and some of these can almost be like pseudo CRMs. You know, if you don't have one already. So yeah, if you need something a little more sophisticated, maybe take an extra minute to take a look around and make sure you got the functionalities you need.
Right. Cool. So next up, we're going to go to my next recommendation, which is, I'm going to say, so Casey said Zipify pages a second ago for landing pages. I'm going to go do another Zipify product, Zipify one-click upsell. So this is specific to Shopify. The Zipify products are, I believe. I don't think they integrate with any of the other platforms. But I'll talk more about like other alternatives in a second. But essentially the function Zipify one-click upsell performs is, and given like, I think this is a choice, right? Like some brands may make the choice that they don't want to use post-purchase upsells. And that's fine. But you know, the function it performs is it creates post-purchase one-click upsells. So once somebody has purchased on your site, like they've entered their credit card information, you can essentially show them a page that like the analogy Zipify uses is the kind of like, do you want fries with that analogy at a fast food restaurant, right? Like they've already paid, they're already paying, they're already buying something. You're just saying, hey, do you want to throw this on there? And they don't have to go back through. So it's after they've purchased, after they've checked out, you're just showing them, hey, do you want this as well? Or do you want more of this product or whatever upsell makes sense? We could do like a whole other rabbit hole on like what kind of upsells you should use for different products. But and then if they say yes, it's just one click. One click that's added to their order. They don't have to check out again with their credit card and stuff like that. So I think that's helpful. You know, like I think that a lot of times we'll implement a post-purchase upsell, a one-click upsell tool, and we will see big bumps to average order value overnight. You know, and a lot of times it won't have any effect. You know, so our CPAs, our you know, cost per purchase, whatever, will stay the same, but average order value might bump by 10, 15, 20, sometimes 30% overnight. I've seen one brand that got essentially 100% bump in AOV. You know, they were a low ticket brand already, but they went from about $12 AOV to about 25. So yeah, post-purchase upsell tool I think is definitely worth considering. alternatives to Klaviyo, Cart Hook. So if you're on WooCommerce or some other platform, I've also worked with Cart Hook and it's solid. Yeah, Casey, others?
Yeah, I mean, there's native stuff in ClickFunnels if you build your funnel ClickFunnels to do upsells. And I think really just to add to your point of why it's important to have the upsell, maybe it's not for everybody. Maybe you're a single SKU or something, you know, maybe you don't have need for it, maybe you do. But these are distinguishing factors of these tools, you know, that you need a page builder, like we mentioned, Instapage. But you want everything condensed in one. Maybe ClickFunnels is kind of for you if you want that upsell capability on top of it. You don't want to mess around with mixing and matching too many tools. A lot of these recommendations kind of depend on your do-it-yourself business.
Yeah, what level of do-it-yourself do you want? What are you comfortable doing and not doing? I mean, a lot of the tools we're recommending, you may not need if an agency does this for you already, right? So if an agency already builds landing pages for you, they might build them out and get them hosted right on your site, right? If they're devs. So you might not need an Instapage. You know, if you want to do it yourself quickly, Instapage is great. So Zipify pages. But yeah, to your point about ClickFunnels, I think it's like, you know, ClickFunnels is sort of a mix of page builder and you know, checkout, like full on e-commerce checkout. Like you could build your checkout there, and then you can build your upsells there, your post-purchase one-click upsells there. I mean, look, I'm not like, you know, I think ClickFunnels has this like cult-like following. I'm not there, you know, and it definitely has its issues, but we've run stuff on ClickFunnels and had good success, right? So you can do it, and I know other people who do it as well, you know, in the e-commerce space. So,
right. Again, there's no affiliate links in the description. We have sort of a love-hate relationship with ClickFunnels. I think it's fair to say, you know.
I would say most of these tools, right? Like,
probably true. Yeah.
Love-hate relation. Even Klaviyo, as much as we love Klaviyo, like sometimes we're like, man, like.
That's fair. Know. That is fair. It's true. Okay, so does that wrap it up for upsell tool for us, John?
Yeah, let's go to the next one.
All right, cool. So the next one I had, similar to email tool, SMS. So email is what, 20 years old now. Yeah, hopefully you already have something. If it works for you, that's great. If not, use my recommendation. But SMS is something that most businesses aren't doing yet. But you probably should be. I mean, the reality is the ROI on SMS is pretty great for most brands that kind of jump into it. And my recommendation here is going to be Postscript. I would say about Postscript, there's probably some other tools that have a lot of the same functionality at this point, but Postscript was kind of the first one in and best dressed at the party, you know, so they kind of stand out to me as they kind of led the way for a lot of the functionality that you do want to see. Similar to what we have on Klaviyo, you can segment into different rule-based, you know, engagement with your list, so you can get people out of there you don't want to be sending to, and that's extra important when it comes to SMS because you're paying per message. Most email tools are not that way. You kind of pay a blanket dollar amount for a certain size list usually.
Yeah.
Maybe some kind of hybrid model, but SMS is pretty straightforward. It's almost always you pay per however many messages you're going to send. Yeah. So it's really important that you're getting everything you can out of the messages, and the easiest way to trim the fat is to not send to people who aren't interacting with them. So.
Yeah. I mean, just a couple points on that. Paying per message, like if you're looking for a way to not pay per message, good luck with SMS. The carriers charge. So AT&T, Verizon, the carriers charge per message. There's just like not a way to not. We've gone down the rabbit hole of like not using an SMS tool at all to try and get the cheapest rates, and the carriers charge somewhere between, you know, a third of a cent and you know, 0.7 of a cent per message, depending on the carrier. So yeah, every tool is going to have some kind of per message charge. So what Casey's saying is like, you know, if you can segment within the tool and say, hey, people who never click on my messages, I don't want to send to them. That's huge because then you're just like, you're being way more efficient with that. Think about that, like optimizing your ad spend, right? It's not expensive per message. It's really cheap. And it's really high ROI, even if you don't segment. But if you do segment, it's really good. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the tools, kind of giving some history on SMS, it used to be this sort of like, kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you know, a little bit of a stigma around it, like seems a little spammy. For a long time, it was really just like kind of spammy affiliates sending black hat offers via SMS. But I would say maybe 2-3 years ago, it got, you know, it started to gain some traction in e-commerce. And now it's, you know, a lot of e-commerce, and not a lot of like really strong, well-respected e-commerce brands do SMS. So there's no reason to fear it. Like there's no reason to fear doing SMS. It's totally accepted in the e-commerce space. People expect it. Consumers expect it. And it's just, yeah, like the SMS tools had to evolve from like, let's be super cheap per message for these black hat affiliates to like, oh no, e-commerce people want more segmentation and control, and they want like to really only talk to people who want to talk to them.
Right, and one signal of that is that they do integrate so well with, you know, selling platforms now, like Shopify. You know, Postscript, I forgot to mention, that is one of the things that it can do. I do think other tools have those capabilities as well now. One I'd mention is Attentive. It also can integrate with your Shopify. There's bound to be other ones. Another thing with Postscript that's interesting is you can set up what are essentially flows or automated sequences of messages based off different trigger events, just like you would normally expect from an email tool. So that's not in every single, you know, in the features of every tool. So take a look again, make sure you're making a good choice for you. If you don't plan on doing that stuff, then I guess that's not such a big deal.
Yeah. Klaviyo also has some SMS functionality, but I mean, we're a big fan of like the right tool for the job. Like don't try and, you know, use a multi-tool.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And honestly, it slipped my mind to even bring up Klaviyo because of the, you know, we were a little bit more ahead once SMS marketing became a little bit more mainstream to e-commerce. You know, like I said, that first in, best dressed really stands out to us. You know, we're trying to be early adopters of things. So yeah, but that's a good point. Klaviyo is good. It can, if you are, I would say if you are using Klaviyo as kind of your makeshift CRM, that might be a good idea for you then, because it is kind of all in one central location.
Cool. So next up, I'm going to call an audible. I know we talked before about which ones we were going to say, but I'm going to allow you to kind of say my last one. And there's a whole sort of vein of ones in our last recommendation. I'm going to talk about actually an on-site pop-up tool. And that's pretty essential for most e-commerce brands. Most e-commerce brands are driving the bulk of their traffic to their just like high-level website, right? So you might be driving some traffic to an Instapage or to a custom landing page or something like that. But a lot of times it's like, you know, Chubbies.com is driving most of their traffic to Chubbies.com, right? Or Purple Mattress, they're driving most of their traffic there. And so the on-site pop-up tool is really good in terms of like that. It's just like the first thing that you can use to build your list and to like catch signals about like what people are more interested in. So like you can, so I'll just say the tool. So the tool I like is Just Uno. For on-site pop-ups. And the nice thing about Just Uno is like you can test different offers against each other. So you can say, okay, what if I did like a free ebook versus if I did like a, you know, a discount, you know, or what about this? You can customize it for the page they're on, right? So if you have different categories in your store and they're on a page that is like, you know, men's, let's say you're a clothing store and you have men's and women's, right? So you could have like a free men's style guide and a free women's style guide, and you can customize the offer based on where they are. Now, Just Uno has like way deeper functionality around what they call like monetization optimization or like customer value optimization. So, you know, you can do like product recommendations with it and, you know, even some conversion rate optimizations with it and stuff like that. I haven't even gone down that rabbit hole with Just Uno. But purely as a pop-up on-site pop-up tool, it's really strong because, yeah, just of all the functionality it has to test offers against each other, change the offer per page that they're on, gives you analytics on the offer. And the thing that I really like about it is that you can integrate your pixel, your like Facebook pixel, your Google pixel with it. So you can create a conversion event around there so that then back in your ads manager, you can see like which ad sets and ads. I mean, mainly you're worried about like ROAS and cost per purchase, but you can also see which ad sets and ads are like driving, you know, leads most efficiently and people onto your list most efficiently. So that's a tool that I like for on-site stuff. I don't know if we have any other recommendations on that.
I mean, I could toss out something that's quite a bit less sophisticated than that. I haven't dived into Just Uno as much as you, but something like a Wheelio or something. I mean, they can help push conversions. It can grab emails and stuff for you.
Yeah.
Again, different kind of functionality maybe there, but yeah, you audibled on me, so I wanted to throw something.
Yeah. a lot of people do like Wheelio because it's like more of a conversion driver, but it does help like capture opt-ins on the way there. Some people have said like, well, I feel like Wheelio just gets like a bunch of fake email addresses. I don't know. We've worked with stores that use Wheelio primarily and have a really strong email list. But maybe that is some people's experience, that Wheelio doesn't capture as much quality. But Wheelio does have the capability of like getting Messenger subscribers, SMS subscribers, that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, it can definitely be a helpful tool. I think it was a big fad. I mean, it feels like every store you went to for a while there had a Wheelio. And I think part of it is that there's that gamification. And I don't just mean for the prospect, for the customer. Sure, they get to spin a wheel, but even as the offer holder, the way you kind of set it up, it's kind of there's an optical thing you get to play with. I mean, you can literally create offers that the wheel will never land on, so you get to kind of play with what people see a little bit. And in that way, I'd say there's gamification kind of two-way. So
free $100 gift card or something like that, and it never lands there. Yeah.
Right. And then
so it's
really to take anyway. So
yeah. Cool. So last up, what do you got?
All right. So we have creative tools for the last one. So I'm going to go ahead and toss this one out first, because when I end up dealing with creative tools, I'm not the guy who's going to jump into Photoshop and be that high level, designer that you might hire if you're going to outsource this. So with a grain of salt, take this recommendation. I prefer Canva because it is this cheaper alternative. It's very user-friendly. I'm surprised by how sophisticated of a design I can make. There's lots of templates. Obviously, you can create GIFs, whatever you want to call them. It's just the more I use it, the more I kind of learn how to use it, and I get better and better results. And we find ourselves not needing to hire designers very often because we do a lot of testing of creative, so we need a bunch kind of on command. We're very do-it-yourself in some projects we do. So whenever I'm looking to do it myself, I'm going to go to Canva for creation.
Right. So if you have a designer in-house, or if you have an agency that cranks out images for you and stuff like that, if they're like a real like pro designer, a lot of times they're gonna so I'm thinking about brands that we've worked with like Sozi and then where it's like their designs are a level above what we could do in Canva. Right, which is, I just handed out my next tool recommendation.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, their designs are, but they're using pro designers. They're using so yeah, but we can put pretty good stuff together in Canva. And like if you're not a designer and you're kind of a DIYer, Canva's really good because you can put something together that looks solid, looks professional, keeps your brand integrity, doesn't make your brand look scammy in a pretty quick period of time because of the templates they have, right? So you can just work from a template, and they have templates for a lot of different sizes of things. So whether you're doing a Facebook ad or like a homepage banner or something like that, like you can probably make something that looks pretty solid just from one of their templates. And there's a solid amount of customization available. I mean, I go so far as that we're premium. We're on the premium plan, which is nice too, because it's like, yeah, you get more access to more. They've got like a full, stock photo. You can get any stock photos, a bunch of stock graphics and stuff like that, which is really like, you can create some pretty good stuff in there pretty quick. So yeah, good if you're a DIYer. If you've got a design agency, you can pass on that one probably. Next one, same thing. It's a creative tool as well, Animoto. So there are other tools like this. I like Animoto. That's the one I've worked with. There are probably other tools like Canva, but these are just the ones we've worked with, So Animoto it's just a video editing tool. And again, there are like templates there and stuff like that. And you can do, Casey and I, this is interestingly enough, Casey and I both have video production backgrounds. So you could actually say, my college degree is in video production. You could actually say, I am a video production professional. And I still like Animoto because it's like quicker, right? So especially for ad creatives, if I already have the footage I want, right? I'm just gonna cut it up into a different order, or I'm gonna put different kinds of titles on it or something like that. A lot of the stuff Animoto has already prepared for me and in its templates, it's so much faster than me pulling it into like, a Premiere or Final Cut or something like that, or, even making titles. So like, look, I can do a lot more and a lot more advanced stuff and take something more raw and make it into something better with a Premiere. but it takes a lot longer. And like, you know, you need a machine, you need a computer with a whole lot of RAM in order to even render that, you know, in an efficient time period and stuff like that. So Animoto is really nice for like, especially paid ads where you got video ads and you need new fresh video ads to launch every week, you know, taking your current footage and images you have and recutting those up into different ads and different iterations. I like it as a tool. Again, if you, there are services like Constant Creative, so K with K, so K Constant, K Creative, I like them. They'll do this for you, so you can just put creative requests in and they'll make those iterations and cuts for you. No Limit Creatives is another one that does that. But yeah, Animoto, if you're a DIY person, you want to do it.
And I'll add one more thing in while we're still under creative tools, and again with the asterisk that it's a little more DIY. So yeah, Animoto, if you got video you need to make. Canva is great for those still images, in particularly, like I mentioned, though, you can create GIFs, but a lot of times you don't have, you can make them look beautiful, but a lot of times when you go to import that GIF into a new tool, I do this a lot because we can't always have video everywhere. GIF's the next best thing. It can be too large of a file. And I found that EasyGIF, I think it was actually a recommendation from you years ago, but we've been using it for forever now. EasyGIF's a great place to drop in like an already made GIF and kind of tweak it. You can bring that file size down probably a dozen different ways, and without sacrificing quality on it too much, and really make sure that you can get it into your emails, into your if you want to put it into a text message, you can really put it anywhere. So yeah.
GIFs and emails right there, that's like a good hack. Definitely try GIFs and emails, but most email tools will have like a pretty strict file size limit. So if you just go grab a GIF off the internet, or if you've just made a GIF or something like that, it's probably going to be too big.
Right, it's usually 500 megabytes, I guess, from what I've seen in most tools. And yeah, exactly. If you make a 3-second GIF even on a lot of those GIF making tools, it'll easily be over that a lot of the times. So yeah, like I said, EasyGIF has a lot of different levers you can pull to really bring that file size down. And that kind of rounds out the creative stack that I think we wanted to go over today. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you have other tools you think we missed in here, or go ahead and comment if you agree and you want to learn more, or you have other points you want to bring up about any of these tools. We'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm doing this thing where I buy a little bit more time here because I'm about to set up my man John for the final knock it out of the park moment on this episode about all the essential tools you need to do e-commerce. So John, I hope I stalled for long enough. What do you got for me?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd say like parting shot here essentially is like, people who perform different functions within e-commerce are going to see different tools as essential. So these ones are really like, we're very marketing heavy, right? Like we're paid traffic guys, we're email, like we're like working on channels that are driving sales, right? So these are really strong tools for that. But think of tools, like they're called tools for a reason. What are actual tools? Actual physical tools are things that can perform really any function that you set them to, but there are certain like right tools for the right job. So that's kind of like our take on it, is like, there are no tools, like there's no hammer out there that's going to build a shelf for you. You still have to build the shelf. There's no tool out there that's going to make your brand profitable or make your brand, grow. Like you still have to do that. There are just some tools that, within what your function is, will make it easier for you to do that, right? Just like, a hammer or drill or something like that, right? Like knowing how to use the tool for the function that you want to use it for, and really getting to be a professional with the tools that are your go-to tools for the function that you perform or for the things that you build, in that analogy within the e-commerce world is really more essential. So a lot of times I think that we get shiny object syndrome with tools. So we get tempted to try new tools, or, oh, this tool seems cool, or this tool seems like it will make us more profitable. No tool is going to build your brand for you. So there's like actually a lot of value in kind of like sticking with the tool that you're already a pro with, because you're the one building your brand and you know how to use that tool. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't upgrades, there aren't better versions of that tool, but understand that there is a cost, a very real cost of jumping around tools.
All right, great stuff, John, as always. Guys, thanks for checking out the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out one of our other videos somewhere right over here. And until next time, enjoy watching the draft.
Yeah.